I think about 6 months into hosting this show, I said once the bottom was calling and they wanted to know if we were there yet. I quickly realized that the bottom would never call because there is no bottom. But Jonathan Lemire, this does seem like a crisis even by Trumpian standards. The standoff, the dynamic, the need for the military, even the people that are there right now to feel they have to make a video that'll be seen around the world apologizing for being seen in fatigue next to the president for a propaganda stunt.
I think you're right, Nicole. I was speaking to someone in the president's orbit in the last 24 hours or so who says this current moment is reminiscent only of Charlottesville and Helsinki in terms of how low things are in the White House at this time. And certainly there is a crisis right now between the White House and the Pentagon. And we saw General Milley try to reestablish some sort of the separation between the political operations of the West Wing and what we see at the Defense Department. It wasn't just that his words carrying his apology, but that video was so powerful to watch him say and realize he had indeed made a mistake. And certainly, according to our reporting, there is some unhappiness in the Oval Office about what happened. We're not certain if Milley would be on his way out. We know that the president was certainly angry at him. We know he was angry at Defense Secretary Esper in the days before. But there also is a reluctance to make a change at such a tumultuous time, and also just 5 months or so before the election. But he has certainly put the military in an incredibly awkward position. And I think you were right to mention the speech tomorrow at West Point will be a significant moment. Now, the president has given speeches to service academies before. Previous ones, he has actually largely stuck to the script. But we'll see if that's the case tomorrow. This is obviously an extraordinary time for him. He knows his poll numbers are slipping. He seems to be grasping and sort of flailing for a message that works while still trying to lean in on the idea of law and order and military strength, while not really recognizing the concerns of the protests, those marching almost uniformly peacefully in the streets at this point. And of course, it also comes after he said that he would not consider renaming the military bases that were named after Confederate generals, even though the Department of Defense suggested they would be open to that, which again seems like perhaps not just another fracture line between the president and his Defense Department, but also another moment where Donald Trump seems to be on the wrong side of history.
You know, Michael Steele, he's on the wrong side of history, no doubt, but he's on the wrong side of the nanosecond as well. You've got the military, you've got Republicans in Congress, every Democrat in Congress, and it's so easy. I mean, their defense for not doing it is ludicrous. It's barely a defense at all. It's just something they pulled out of a hat before a briefing started. But the idea that they don't do the easy things makes it, as you have warned me and admonished me time and time again, abundantly clear that they're not going to even take on any of the difficult things.
No, they're not. And there's no incentive to at this point, Nicole, because the commander in chief, their boss, the president of the United States, is the one who dictates the terms of engagement. He does not, a mistake or a bad thing doesn't happen in the administration and then everybody kind of gets in the room, and does the war drill on it and sort of figure out how to game it out and fix it. He's the one who's dictating the way that operates and how that is operationalized and how that is spoken. Look at the number of communication directors and national spokespersons he's had standing at the podium on his behalf. He's trying to fine-tune this thing to get it to the point where the person who is going to be the figurehead is the puppet mouthpiece that will spew out exactly what he once said in their official capacity, so he can sort of create that sort of Heisman distance between them and him. But they're saying exactly what he once said. And so when the Joint Chief comes back and says, wait a minute, no, that was bad ops, and that was just bad politics, and it was bad for the military, that takes him off the script. When Esper does the same, it takes him off the script. And that's what he doesn't want. That's why he's flailing more so than we would normally see. So that's the reality here. It's not going to change. Folks, we got 5 more months of this. You think this is the hot spot? Oh, we are just warming up. And he's now trying to find the team that's going to get him, official government team, because his campaign team, he's reassembling that, as you know. Now he needs to get the official government team in space to make sure that those two ends meet at the same point, him, and then goes forward with what he wants done.
Well, if I could just push back, or not push back, but push deeper on this idea of assembling the team. He seems to view the military as part of the team. I mean, someone told me, former military official today told me that he thought it was still more likely than not that Esper wasn't there in November. I mean, do you think he's going to push these military leaders to a breaking point?
I think that will remain up to them. And what is their breaking point? We've seen with folks in this administration, some have a long way before they break, others maybe not. We'll see. But I think the idea that, he sees the military as his team already, that was undermined by what we've seen from Esper and from Milley and from others. And so I think for him, I still don't believe he makes the change anytime soon, because the optics and the politics, given everything else, doesn't necessarily help him. But, having said that, it may be easier for him to clean those decks now and bring in somebody, or maybe just sort of leave it sort of in the air with an acting or whatever, again, where he has more control than he does right now.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.